setting to divulge specifics about his immigration plan during a major speech in 2 days.
On day one, I'm going to begin swiftly removing criminal, illegal immigrants from this country.
I'm joined now by our MSNBC political contributors, Victoria DeFrancesco. She's a professor at the University of Texas Center for Mexican American Studies, and Rick Tyler. He's the former spokesman for the Ted Cruz campaign. Rick, I want to start with you. The Trump team has said they've been consistent on their position in immigration, though for quite some time we heard from Donald Trump, 12 million undocumented immigrants, they need to leave. Kellyanne Conway said to be determined. Mike Pence is saying we've always been on the same track. Take a listen.
I think the whole question of anchor babies, as it's known, the whole question of citizenship of natural-born Americans is a subject for the future. I think the American people ought to ask, we look at our whole immigration system and see whether or not that works and makes sense.
I'm comfortable with it. I'm comfortable with it. I'm comfortable with the Supreme Court rulings on the issue.
One Trump surrogate said Donald Trump hasn't changed his message, he's just changed the words. And to me, that makes no sense. So, Rick, to you, what do you think his policy is here?
I don't know. I'm dizzy. I'm dizzy. I think everybody who covers Donald Trump's immigration policy is dizzy. We'll just have to see, and then we'll have to believe what we believe. Look, he made it clear in the primary that, and in fact, this is the way he separated himself, that he was going to deport 11 million illegal aliens, and that's exactly what his supporters believed. And in the disastrous Sean Hannity town hall, he seemed to reverse himself remarkably, like on the fly, and said there was a softening. Everybody heard that, and then days later he said, no, some say it's a, some say it's a hardening, and it's just, I'm dizzy. I don't know what to believe anymore. I suspect that he'll go back closer to his former policy. They'll try to finesse the difference, but listening to people defend the idea that he's been consistent, which he has not, and the idea that Mike Pence actually said before Donald Trump was talking about immigration, no one was talking about immigration. That is so untrue. Everybody was talking about immigration. The whole GOP primary was about immigration, not because Donald Trump made it so.
Victoria, Donald Trump hasn't been able to even reach 20% when it comes to support from Latinos. He's giving this speech on Wednesday. Is there a message he could convey that'll start to turn things for him, or is it too late?
Well, Stephanie, we know that a candidate cannot reach the White House without a minimum of about 35% of the Latino vote. So Donald Trump is looking at the same polls we are, and as we get into the general election, he knows he needs that 10%, 15% jump. So I think the softening on deportation is trying to reach out to Latinos. I think we're going to see some of that in Arizona, but at the same time, he can't lose his base. His base are the folks that got him to where he is, so that's why we see him holding strong on the wall. But I do want to go back to the point of the mass deportation and his flip-flopping, and I got to admit, it's been making me dizzy too. But to be fair to Donald Trump, even though on his stump speeches he has said in the past that he wants to deport 11 million folks, if you go to his actual immigration plan that he put up on his website a couple of months ago, he never makes any mention of mass deportation. He just says that he wants to get rid of the criminals and follow the law. So at least he built himself in some wiggle room for Wednesday night's speech.
Rick, Donald Trump supporters are passionate. They love Donald. They seem to forgive him for almost anything. So the fact that he may be softening, is there really a risk that he's going to lose that base?
Yeah, he's seen that already. Look, he's got a very high floor, but he's got a very low ceiling. He knows that if people believe that he would give up on his immigration policy, that they would peel off. The problem for him is with that same policy, he really can't expand his base, and so he's really kind of stuck. And I'm sure he doesn't know what to do about it. But there is no strategy in which Donald Trump wins the presidency by winning any margin of African American or Hispanic votes, but especially Hispanic votes, given everything that he said on the topic.
You agree, Victoria?
I do. I think Donald Trump, his supporters are very much wanting the wall, very much wanting deportation. We've heard Ann Coulter talk about that. But at the same time, I'm curious to see what they let slide. I think that a lot of the support that Donald Trump has received is for his persona, for his charisma. So they may like his policies, but let's remember that Donald Trump is a mix of some non-traditional Republican policies. He himself used to be a Democrat. So I think that if he keeps that tough Donald Trump persona, he may not lose as many folks as we think.
All right, Victoria, Rick, and I are collectively dizzy. Thank you all. I appreciate you joining me today.
Thanks.